Welcome to Comedy Centric, your place for all things comedy. Every week, we'll discuss the legends and the people who built the business, the performers, writers, behind the scenes, and stories that you have never heard. So relax, take a load off, and join us for this episode of Comedy Centric. Now, the host of your show, nationally headlining comedian, a woman with a wicked sense of humor and a killer Jersey accent, Julia Scotti.
There she is. Hi.
Aw.
Aww.
Hey,
Hello,
lady.
America, and all the ships at sea. Or in this case, hello, all six of you, and hello, Kathy Caldwell. I see you wearing your Phillies hat.
I know. World Series bound, baby.
And you know where the Yankees are? They're all getting jobs at Burger King now for the winter.
They're all betting on DraftKings for the
Man,
World
oh
Series.
man, yeah. Wow, they suck every year.
Who sucks?
They have these great teams all year, the Yankees, and then you get to the playoffs and it's like, oh, we don't know how to play baseball. These guys are good, Anyway, enough of that.
Phillies know how to play baseball.
I know. How you doing, babe?
I'm good. I'm good. Hey, I was wondering how I've been thinking of you. How's your toilet paper situation? The bamboo TP.
I gotta tell you, once you go boo, that's what I call it.
Oh, boo. Yeah, bamboo.
Bamboo. I mean, once you go bamboo, you never go back. I feel it every time I, use it, and I use it a lot.
Yeah.
Because and
You're healthy.
I smile. I'm healthy, but I smile because I'm saving the planet single-handedly.
And you're regular.
And I'm regular. Yeah, it's great. It's fantastic. I recommend it. I'm thinking of getting like bamboo clothing, and just everything
crazy.
Bamboo. Yeah, I'm going to be bamboo.
Just stick to your tushy right now.
Okay, boo. You're my little bamboo.
Oh, boo, boo,
Boo.
Ugh,
All right.
boo. Say, we have a fun guest.
We do, but I got to, before we bring him on, I got to tell you, I saw this story today, and I thought, I actually made that noise. I'm going to read this to you, and I want to discuss a few minutes. There's a settlement in Antarctica with a school, a post office, and a bunch of homes. It's like other sub-zero villages, except in order for you to live there, you have to have your appendix out. Now, see, can you figure out why?
No.
Okay. Because the nearest the nearest hospital is 625 miles away. So by the time you got to the hospital, you'd be dead. Their appendix would have exploded. There would be fluids all over the place, and you'd be dead.
So what about a heart attack?
Well, that you can't really, but I know.
What
I think
about
it's
a
a
brain
little
aneurysm?
Well, I think it's a little
What
absurd.
about a stroke?
All right, they don't look. I didn't write that's not
a
my
flawed
ground.
article.
You see that? All right.
Flawed article.
Would you move there?
Hell no.
Would you have your appendix out to live there?
No, what's so great about it?
I don't know. Well, we could ask our guest, I think, and he would know. We would have an opinion. He's got an opinion on everything, Mike.
You think?
This guy.
Let's take a bet. Do you think he has his appendix?
I do believe he has his appendix.
Do
Yes,
you? Okay.
Yes, I do. They take it out through your belly button now?
Yeah, it's like they just suck it right out.
Yeah,
right?
they don't touch it. I don't know if they suck it out. I mean, it sounds like medical porn. Yeah, no.
It looks like a little octopus. It's like,
yeah. Anyway, this guy, I love this guy. He's my buddy. He lives not far from me, so we often go to breakfast together. He's a comedian. He travels all over the place, and he's an interesting guy because he's manufacturing himself into an industry. He's got a great podcast called Dystopia Tonight, and he's got some wonderful guests on it, people that would never come on our podcast. So
he's had you on this podcast?
He's had me on, and that was yeah, and I thought I was doing him a favor, but no, then I see he's got like major stars.
He's got big stars, not just somebody with a little cameo
in Pros. But no.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to bring him on. His name, where is he? John
Hey.
Poveromo.
Hey,
Hiya,
John.
Johnny.
How are you guys? I got to tell you about the bamboo thing. Immediately, I thought, because everybody always thinks they're doing a good thing, and we try. Everybody tries to do the right thing. I just thought of all the pandas that you're just taking away their food. If you're doing bamboo, wiping your ass with bamboo, doing bamboo clothing, doing all that other shit, there's just starving pandas now. Every no good deed goes unpunished, is what I'm thinking.
It's true, John.
I didn't
good-
mean
it's a
to
good
bring it
point.
down, but yeah, that's what I was. It is funny because I was like, oh, bamboo, that's a really great idea because there's, it's not
Well,
that.
I'll tell you something about bamboo, though, because I've been reading about bamboo. So I got an answer for you. Bamboo uses the same root over and over and over again. There's no need to replant it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's why it's so ecologically sound.
I did not know that.
Like if I had one bamboo plant,
Mhm.
I could wipe myself for the rest of my life.
I have a bamboo plant.
Well, you
Wow.
got to make it into toilet paper first. So
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me hold on.
If anybody could do it, I feel like you could. And the other thing is, I do have my appendix.
I
don't know how you knew it, but you did. I still have my appendix, and now, knock on wood, that I keep it. I don't think I would move to Antarctica, though. I don't know. Are they paying you to live there? Like, what's the benefit?
That's what
of
I
it?
said. What's the
Yeah.
draw?
Well, she jumped all over me, but it's a. Let me see here. They have horizontal hailstorms that hit you right in the face.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's yeah.
I've always that's the first thing I look for when I move somewhere is what's the weather?
Horizontal hailstorms.
Yeah, can we get some horizontal hail in there?
Well, it goes down to they give me where it goes down to. It goes down to, well, let's suffice to say, here it was, minus 47 degrees Celsius, minus 52 Fahrenheit. That's in the winter.
No, I'd rather do that. When there's like I don't know, there'll be like these things on the web or whatever that'll be like, oh, 86 people were murdered in this building, but you could live there rent free if you don't mind, whatever. I would do that kind of shit because I don't.
You could deal with this. Well, in Italy, you and I, because we're Italian, we could buy homes for $1.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm a lord.
You are.
I bought a little square piece of Scottish land, and they made me a lord because I own for $50. I did.
What's your title?
I'm Lord John Poveromo.
Did they question your last name that you might not be Scottish?
No, I don't. You don't have to be Scottish. You just have to have $50. Which, believe it or not, I don't want to brag, but I actually had $50 at the time. At one point in my life, I had $50.
Well, you are better off than I am.
Woo! I know.
So Kathy's
got
her bamboo plant.
Oh yeah, you had a bamboo plant.
I do have my bamboo plant.
Let's see. In order you'd have to have a much bigger plant, Kath. That wouldn't last you a day.
Yeah.
With how much you pee, because she pees like 800 times a day.
Yeah, peeing's rough.
Well, it's rough if you have, something wrong with
you. If you don't have bamboo plant, it's rough.
It's really rough.
What made you go to bamboo? But I would never in a million years think to because I'm always downy soft is what I go for.
But these aren't. I thought I poo-pooed the idea too, but I've switched over to.
See what you did there.
What?
Poo-pooed it.
Oh,
sorry.
Please. But I also got these things called True. What's it called? True something or other for my laundry. They're strips of paper like that big.
Oh yeah.
And they were all natural. They were all environmentally safe. They dissolve in the water. And so I got, I'm using those. And what else am I doing? Oh, somebody turned me on to biodegradable garbage bags because I definitely, every time I make a garbage bag, I cry a little. I'm like that Indian. Remember Ionized Cody that would.
Can I just tell you right now? This is why I'm such a buzzkill about this kind of shit.
God damn you!
I know.
God.
So I appreciate everyone. I'm not an environmentalist, but I'm the worst kind of messenger for it because I think we should do stuff to better the environment. It's just that individually, so we're never gonna make the environment any better if we don't get corporations to do it first, because all these factories, all these industries stuff, like every time we recycle, I don't want to tell you the percentage of the shit that actually
No,
gets
I
recycled.
know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And then not, and also on top of that, I mean, the straws, doing away with plastic bags, none of that fucking shit matters. And the only thing it winds up hurting is poor people. And I like that I pointed to myself when I said poor people, even though I'm
You have $50. You
Right.
can't.
I had $50.
Can't
Now
cry
I'm fucking
poor.
Lord, and that's all I got. Yeah. And now I just have a little piece of land in Scotland I can go visit.
Well, you can go live over there and wipe your
Yeah.
ass with Scottish sod.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, which is
Well,
also
wait a minute. Let's take a step back here.
sure.
I'm using the bamboo toilet paper. I'm using the biodegradable bags. If people use that stuff, less people will buy the stuff that's killing the planet. Therefore, you say I'm not doing a lot, but I am doing.
No, I
something.
believe you're doing. I think people can do stuff individually. I'm just saying, in the long run, we're still dead. Like it,
Yes.
like we have to really overhaul. Like we have to, like if we could organize. But see, that's the thing. People don't really want to organize on a grand scale. They want to do they'll be like, fine, I'll stop eating, beef on Friday, whatever, and then they just pat themselves in the back and think that's it. But really, you're just depriving yourself of beef or plastic bags.
I don't like beef.
I don't like beef either.
But people do I'll do meatless Mondays.
Yeah.
You do?
But do you do it for your own health, or do you do it because you think it's going to help the environment?
Other people. I eat meat all the time. No, I'm a horrible person.
I do it for my health. I don't like. Hi, Charlie.
Oh my God, you have a cat.
Yeah,
I love cats.
Oh, thank you. He was very vocal, so I had to pick him up.
I thought it was Katie for a minute because I try not. I just don't like meat. And after I had my heart situation, but I'll eat a burger. Yeah. Every now and then. I like a good burger.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, every now and again. Do you want to live? If you could live forever, would you do it?
No.
Really?
I don't want to make it past next Tuesday. Are you kidding?
Why would I want to live forever?
Wait, if you could live forever, but be healthy, like at a certain age, like if you could pick, no.
Would you?
Yeah.
Really?
I would because here's the thing: if you know you're going to live forever and you can stay relatively healthy and not decay, then I don't know. I'm curious. I want to know how it's. I want to see how it's all gonna. At least I'll get to choose how I go out. You know what I mean? I'm not saying I want to be indestructible.
Well, let's just say for a second, for the sake of taking this little trip, what happens if you live forever until the end of the Earth and the Earth explodes, but you don't die because it's not forever. It's not over yet. It's just the Earth is gone. Ooh. Where do you go? So we got Johnny Poveromo floating in space
People are pointing. They're like, "Is that Lord Johnny Poveromo?"
Yeah. And you land on a planet where they think you're an animal. But they put you in a cage and people pay to see you, and you can throw your feces at them. Well, do you want that?
I'll tell you right now. I think the three of us have a good show on our hands. I think we can really make that work into a sitcom.
We get blasted to another planet.
Yeah. We make a deal. We wind up living forever. We make a wish on some kind of fucking rock or whatever they make wishes on, and then we live forever. And then we see the end of the earth, and we just.
I don't want to live forever. No, I don't believe in an afterlife, but
no, me neither.
But if there were an afterlife, what's your vision of an afterlife? What do you? If you could have, Kathy, what's yours? Start with you.
Well, I think that. Oh my gosh, it's deep. I think that there are levels of awareness and awakening, and as you keep coming back until you reach the highest level of spiritual awakening, and then you just kind of phase out from this earth. You stop coming back.
But if there were the traditional Judeo-Christian version of an afterlife, what would it be for you?
Just coming back and being a wiser, more centered person naturally from the start, instead of having how people are born and they're like, oh, that person is really special, or they're I think there's
they
people,
grow up to be Jerry Seinfeld,
right? But I think that's what I think, which is a little.
What about you, Johnny? What do you think? If there were, I know you don't believe in it, but if there were,
I don't. I think I would probably. I know what you're saying. If there's actually a heaven and we get to pick where we, or whatever. Yeah. It is, I don't know. I'd probably just I'd live wherever I wanted to live, and then I would see the people who I wanted to see. I don't know. It would be something like that. I would have a nice, place up there, I guess, or create my own little bubble, and then Yeah, with a pool. Yeah, a little bit of a pool. You know what I would? Okay, I'll say this right now. If there was an afterlife, I would be able to eat whatever the fuck I wanted all day
Yeah.
without gaining any weight or
So
without.
it would be a chocolate pool.
Yes,
like-
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I would definitely have like friends over all the time. We'd have concerts, Elvis, whoever wants to swing by, and then there would just be food like all the time, pancakes and fucking, tacos, Mexican, Chinese, whatever you wanted to eat, it would just be there.
Speaking of pancakes, I was in the diner this morning, and I'll tell you my heaven.
Without
in a minute,
me?
I know. I know. I was thinking of you, but
Oh, that's sweet.
I just saw that they changed the name of Aunt Jemima syrup to some I don't even know what that name is, Mill Valley or something like that.
Oh yeah, Millbrook or Mill Creek or
Millbrooks or
Mel
something.
Brooks syrup.
Millbrook syrup.
Millbrook
Yeah.
syrup. Mhm.
When did that happen? Where was I?
They did it, I don't know, during the pandemic, probably.
Yeah,
no one
they
was
had a
looking.
lot of time to
Yeah.
Well, I wish they would have done something with the Cleveland Indians with that name of theirs, with the Cleveland Conquistadors or some stupid name like that. What kind of a name is that?
to
They
the
did it-
Guardians.
Conquerors, Guardians.
Yes. They kind of did it like in between, like, my generation burning down targets and shit, and then because they kind of got the message for like half a second where they started to implement some kind of like decent legislation against brutal police force, and then when no one was looking, they were like, "We hear you. We'll get rid of Aunt Jemima," and everyone was like, "Did we fucking who asked for that? Nobody."
And I think they did Uncle Ben too.
Uncle Ben is
Ben's
gone.
rice.
Now it's just Ben's rice. It's
Right.
just Ben.
Mhm.
Right.
He's no longer an uncle, I guess.
I-
You know what it
and-
feels like? They've hidden them, like all the race. You know what I mean? Like it used to be Uncle Ben's rice, and like, all right, we got to just start calling him Ben because
Ben.
fucking.
Well, he's not really our uncle, so we could call him Ben.
That's true.
But Chef Boyardee is still around. Just let's make fun of the Italians. They're never gonna bitch and
Italians
moan.
never get any.
No, they
praise.
never get mad.
No.
You still got us on the pizza box.
Yeah. But you know what? Can I ask you a question? You never did any of those because I always got asked to do those shitty Italian shows, like all the Vic DiBitetto light stuff, where they'd be like, "Oh, do you have any material about plastic on the furniture?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but there's 80 guys that already do that shit. Can't I just be Italian and be on your show, but do clever
I never
stuff?"
got asked to do those.
That's so good. You shouldn't.
Yeah,
But I hate it.
would've
I used to
said
hate
no
them.
anyway.
I never got. They never really. They would be like, "Oh, what is it? Sauce or gravy?" And I'd be like, "I'm 22." Not now, but I mean back then I'd be like, I don't really care if it's sauce or gravy. Like it's weird.
I did one Italian reference this weekend, and I think that's like the first one I've done in ages, since the beginning. And it was just it was a toss up. I mean, I was talking about the 7 deadly sins and how you haven't lived a quality life unless you've committed at least 6 of them.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, thanks. And I said the only one I didn't do was pride.
Mhm.
Because I'm Italian and I was raised Catholic, and we're not allowed to be proud of anything.
Right, that's true.
We're not allowed. But
I shook all that shit off. But my friends and I were just talking about that recently, though, where we still have odd guilt.
Oh,
trips that
sure,
seep
yeah.
in. And it's definitely from that. I don't know. Like, it doesn't last long. Like, it doesn't really interfere with what I'm doing. But I'll acknowledge it. I'll be like, holy shit.
oh, it's definitely PTSD. It's like you
Yeah.
survived a POW camp or something. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's
Kathy's
weird.
lucky. She was raised in what were you, Episcopalian?
Oh.
No, non-denominational.
Oh, nice.
See, you had the best of it, man. You did. You could go out and worship like the barbecue out in the backyard or something.
We did.
Kathy is from she's from the outskirts of Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Mhm.
She's on a farm. She
Okay.
grew up with a farm. Now listen to this, Johnny.
Yeah, go ahead.
She had a horse, right?
Oh.
It was like National Velvet when she was a kid.
No.
Mhm.
She rode this horse. What was the horse's name? Snowball, right, or something?
Beauty.
Beauty. All right,
Snowball.
Beauty. Snowball.
No,
what the hell?
it was Beauty.
All right, so Beauty. What a perfect name for a horse, right? A little
Yeah.
girl's horse. I'm gonna call him Beauty, right?
Her.
Her. I'm gonna call her Beauty. She rode Beauty across meadow and farm, across plains. She and Beauty would sit underneath a tree, and she'd feed him apples.
Her.
Her apples. and then,
Right.
Johnny, listen to this. She turns 17.
16.
16. She gets for her birthday a driver's license and a Mustang, And guess
It
what
was
happened?
used, John. It was used.
Okay.
Guess what happened to Beauty? Go ahead,
Oh
tell her.
no!
Tell him.
Did you put her out to pasture?
Yeah, no, she
She
did
went to a
something worse.
nice farm up the
Oh
road.
God! You murdered Beauty?
No.
Isn't that what? Oh, isn't that what happens when you say an animal goes to a farm?
No. She
Well, where
literally
we
went
come
to a
from,
farm.
yes.
You could still visit her.
Oh, okay.
We
Wait
got
a minute. Okay, wait,
$800
stop.
for
How
her.
many times did you visit her?
Well, I never visited her, but my
There
dad
we
would
go.
see her every once in a
Right.
while. I didn't want to bring up memories for
Uh-huh.
her. She
Okay.
probably, yeah.
So but all she did was trade 1 horsepower in for what, 60,
John.
70 horsepower? That's all. She got
John.
more horses
I like this
to
guy.
love. See, I could spin
like him.
anything.
I like him.
All right, so let's talk about Dystopia Tonight.
Sure.
Oh, wait. First
What?
of all, what do you think happens after life, Julie?
Oh, me? Oh, I
Oh,
know
yeah.
it. Well, if here's my scenario, okay? I'm laying naked in a meadow, and I rub all the death out of my eyes, and I look around, and there in the near distance over a hill
Mhm.
is the Count Basie Orchestra,
Oh.
and the Count Basie band's there, and my favorite band in the whole world ever, big band, and I noticed that there's nobody in the drummer's room, and I walk toward the band, and Bill Basie says to me, "Oh, we've been waiting for you. We need a drummer. You feel like playing?" I'm like, "Feel like playing? Wait all my life to do this." I jump in, and all of a sudden I go, "But I can't read charts." He goes, "Yes, you can. This is the afterlife, and you can keep up the tempos," because he played some really fast tempos. Because I had arthritis, but now all of a sudden my hands work, and I'm just playing. This is tune he does called Whirly Bird. It's a real up tempo thing. And guess who's the singer?
Who?
Bobby Darin, my favorite singer ever. So that's my first day in heaven.
She was using bamboo drumsticks.
I was.
I feel like such a piece of shit. She's got this beautiful dream of heaven. I was like, I want pancakes all day.
No, that's beautiful too. That
24/7.
Oh, pancakes are great. I mean,
Yeah.
well, it's your heaven. It's your paradise.
Right.
I just want to play with Ella.
Got this dream you've cultivated. I'm just very big. I'm like, yeah, butter. That'd be great. But
I could meet you after the set.
Oh, that'd be I would very much like.
Yeah.
And then we could talk shop.
The three of us could get together and just See,
I
I
like
knew
that.
this would be a fun interview, Johnny.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. You're me if I were a guy.
Oh,
And I
that's
was a
very
guy,
nice.
and I wasn't you.
Guess what you have in your future, John?
Fucking fingers crossed, man. I'm that's why I'm growing out the hair.
No, you're gonna need a whole lot of electrolysis, baby, guys. So, all right. So let's talk about Dystopia Tonight. All right.
Sure.
First of all, it's a much better podcast than this one.
Oh, don't do that.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I know it is.
All right. Well, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you
it.
admit
I hope,
it. You
I
admit
hope it is.
I
It's got better lighting. I'll tell you that much.
it's a fun time. I've loved every time you were on. You came on for the charity benefit, nice enough to do that, and then you came on twice
wasn't
before.
I?
That was very nice.
I know. I was. That's why America loves me.
Yeah, she picks up my phone call. That is why you're beloved.
I am.
Yes. So, is there a theme for your podcast, or you just the guest? It takes on whatever they are doing.
So the central theme of Dystopia is basically I created it because I loved the name and I was pitching shows before the pandemic actually hit. And originally I just wrote kind of like a series about a dude who finally gets his big break hosting his own show literally at the cusp of the end of the world. So that's the only, because I was literally pitching stuff, you know how it is. You're pitching shit in LA all the time. Everybody says no. And then in my head, I was like, wouldn't it be hilarious if somebody sees my headshot on a desk and that's when climate change takes full effect? And so then I exaggerated a little bit more and I was like, oh, it'd be funny if all the talk show hosts were dead. And then they get this other unknown comedian to host a show. So the episodes were kind of like, a really A-list celeb would be on their way, but then the state they were driving through would sink. So it'd be like, well, we lost Brad Pitt, but we've got Tom Arnold,
Okay.
or whatever. And I really liked that kind of concept. And it was loosely sketched, but also I wanted the interviews to be semi-real so people could plug stuff. And then I wrote one episode where I wanted the water level to rise in the studio after every commercial break, and we would just lose people. Like the cameraman would drown. Like, so like, and that was it. And I had like the idea of like, you know how like all those talk shows have like a window blown out, where like it's overlooking LA. I just wanted a wall blown out the back and to see random fires or shit happening. So anyway, so I never got to pitch it, but I had the name and everything and trademark and stuff. And then pandemic hit, and it was kind of like a dystopia. So I was like, I'm going to use dystopia tonight. And I wanted to do it. I never wanted to do a podcast. I like being on them. I like being a guest. I like talking, but I was like, fuck it. There's nothing else to do. So I wanted to get people on that I really liked and admired and stuff. And I also what I didn't want to do was like interview comedians. I mean, I like having my friends, like people I came up with, but how many of, like, what am I going to interview another 20-year-old or somebody else who's my, whatever. So I was like, I want people like Julia, and I got like Lewis Black and Tom Papa, and I just really went for it, and I put up a nice thing together. And then I was like, I want to interview bands I love. So then I was like, I'm going to go down my 90s and 80s nostalgia kick. And I got the Gin Blossoms and Glenn Phillips from Toad the Wet Sprocket and Art Alexakis from Everclear. And so it just kind of went after that. I got Ed Asner, and before he passed, obviously, I didn't dig him up. Yeah, there you go. And I just did it that way. And but the theme, what you're saying, so in the beginning of the show, the intro is a culmination of everything that was happening at the time that I'd like thrown together, and I had a friend write like a theme for it. And it's literally mixed in with new stuff and really silly shit like Godzilla and Mothra fighting.
It's got a very Monty Python-ish kind of feel to it.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And so, but the idea was, all right, great. That's all. We know we're living in a dystopia, but we still have to have fun. And there's still great artists, and there's still great music being made, and there's still great conversations to be had. So the intro is 30 seconds long, and you leave that kind of all behind, and then you have fun with your friends and you talk.
All right, I have a question for you.
Shoot.
It's a non sequitur.
All right.
Both Kathy and I think Liz Cheney is hot.
Oh no. Can you pull up a picture of Liz Cheney real quick?
No, we're not you. We don't.
Oh, that's fine. I will. I don't think so. I'm gonna say
when she's tearing a new asshole.
Hang on a second. Let me see something.
Yeah, John, do some research there. Sorry, we don't.
I'm gonna look up Liz Cheney right now, and I'm gonna tell you if I think she's hot.
Yeah.
Because
it's not that she's physically hot, Johnny. It's her power. She's got a personal power that comes out of her.
But she's got nice eyes.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, so if you're talking about just her personality and her authority and that kind of thing, I think that kind of, I think that's attractive.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
All right, now back to your show.
Yeah, so that's also so shitty that you were like, I think she's hot, and my brain immediately went like, would I fuck?
Well, see, that's
thinking of
that's my trademark interviewing style.
You get your guests talking about one thing, and then you throw in like would you sleep with?
I studied under Larry King. Literally, I was under him. He was on top of me.
Was his whole spine really arched like that?
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, that's fair. Fair.
So, John, do you still do stand up?
I do still do stand up.
Yeah.
I did, but it's I haven't been really dedicated to it as much as I was, because I've been doing stand up it'll be 17 years in November, actually. And I did, my last show was at the DC Comedy Loft in July. And
guess who he tours with? Who do you tour with? Come on.
Joanne Filan, who's a very, very good friend. We tour under the Misfits of Comedy.
Oh, okay.
Because we always felt like kind of misfits when we started, and we still do.
Love Joanne.
I wish you were in the studio with me, one of you.
Oh, why? You got an itch?
And I can't reach it.
I hope you use this kind of shit for like the Patreon paid content, because you shouldn't give the itching thing away to the public for free.
We're not set up on Patreon yet. We want to be.
Oh, you should be. Yeah.
We should be.
Who wouldn't want to pay for this gold?
Yeah, but Joanne, Joanne, I toured with Joanne. We're like really, really good friends. She's awesome.
I love Joanne.
Yeah.
We
And
all
this,
love
when I was
Joanne.
in DC, we John Fugelsang and I co-headlined for the first time, and it was a blast.
Yeah,
Speak-
I love John. He's a good guy.
He
He's a
is.
really good guy.
I was just on
Yeah.
his show again recently.
Yeah, you went up to New York for it?
No, I stayed here. I didn't go in studio. He wants me to come to go in studio, but it's so expensive to go in.
I would go. I would do it from home too, because he asked me, and I just didn't want
You
to.
should.
I did it. I did it once in studio, and then they changed his time.
Oh, I
You know,
know.
yeah, and I'm like, I'm not going up there to be on at 11 o'clock at night and then
It's
drive an
fucking
hour
late.
here. Yeah.
It's so funny though. Don't you love that about like us in general? Is that like, you know, if he has like Mike Mills on from REM, it's like, hey, you want to do like 7 o'clock and then go get dinner? And for comedians, he's like, listen, if we could sneak you in the back, get you on at 11, push you out the window by 12:01, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I remember doing a serious thing, and like, again, the comedian thing where like they had us on, and I had also heard on the show was going to be like, I don't know who it was, but let's say it was like a Stevie Van Zandt or something like that. And I was like, oh, this would be really cool. We'll be in the same studio together, whatever. They fucking ushered us out.
They did that to me too for somebody. I forgot who it was.
How fucking shit. Like, isn't that insane though? Like we could not feel like we're less a part of show business.
Do you know where we are? You know that diagram of man? He starts out as a monkey, and then he's
Yes.
Yeah.
That's us. We're the first one there. Comedian.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so funny to me. But I'm like, see, I was in the studio one time and Jane Fonda walked out. And I wish
because you were in the studio, or she just came out.
She walked out because I was in the studio. She was like, "There's no fucking way a grown man could be that short and that hairy." They were like, "There's no way." She's like, "I'm not working with puppets. I told you before. I've had it. I'm a serious actress."
Speaking of puppets, you had. All right, tell the Jane.
There's no Jane Fonda story. It's just I was too much of a pussy to go up there, but now I'm not. So I wish I was like, because I was still young then, and I was like, "Oh, Jane Fonda, what should I do?" And then I didn't approach her, but now I would just walk right up to her, and you
could probably take her at this point. She's like
in a fist fight.
Yeah. When she was younger, you couldn't.
No. How dare you? I could get you should see the ladies I date. That's rude.
I've never seen any of the ladies you date.
I know.
You're like Cliff Clavin. You're talking about the ladies you date, and I don't know.
Good reference that no one's going to care about.
Wow.
I know.
We have a lot of those. I do that on the yeah. We're like,
so all right. Tell me about speaking of puppet. Tell me about Duppet, right? Duppet.
Duppet was a short film that was on Amazon Prime for a bit that I wrote and unfortunately starred in because we had no budget. But I've dealt with depression over the years. We talked about that kind of stuff before, and I decided to. What happened was the advent of it was my roommate and I, like years ago, were talking about how depression's literally like living with a bad roommate all the time that just harasses the shit out of you. So you wake up in the morning, it feels like he's just sitting on your chest. He tells you you're almost out of money. There's something wrong with the house. Like it's just this wave of shit that hits you in the head. So it's like being slapped in the face, all this other crap. And then I started writing a thing where it was this, I literally was living with a bad roommate. And for a while, the series was going to start out where you just saw this other guy who was always in a guinea tee, unshaven, like in the worst kind of way, and like whatever. And then you kind of slowly found out through the first few episodes that no one else could see him but me. And then because I'm such a Jim Henson fan and I love the Muppets, and so does my writing partner Vinny Nardiello, we were like, it's gonna be hard to do a guy like another man. Like, what if we just, and I had a puppet, and I was like, what if we just had my friend like design a puppet that looks like me? So, and we did it with a puppet, and I titled it Duppet, which is short for depression puppet, or it's depression and puppet combined. So it's about this dude who's dealing with his anxieties and all this other shit, but it manifests itself into a little depression puppet named Duppet, and it follows him around and harasses him.
I saw it, and it was really quite good.
Thank you.
Again, one more reason to hate you, because I don't like anybody who's more talented than I am.
Well, that's very sweet. I take those compliments very highly from you, by the way, because I love you. You know that, right?
I know, and I love you too, and that's why I love everybody on this show. I love Kathy. I love you.
I love Kathy now too. I just met her for the first time. But
yeah, I like Jim. I don't know him well enough to love him yet. No,
what's up, Jim? Jim's in the back.
Jim's love. I love Jim. He's a good guy.
but
He's not
like, so
even
that is
watching this. He's having a salami sandwich.
he left. He's like, this is
Yeah.
annoying. Yeah, no, but I appreciate it when you watched it because I don't, you always want your people that you look up to watch your stuff when you're,
So who
whatever.
watched it?
Just Julia.
But I liked it.
We got one click and it was her. And
I gave it a thumbs up.
she
Thumbs
did.
up.
She gave it a
I
thumbs
did.
up. Yeah, we got some pretty decent attention for it.
That's
What
great.
was cool was like, how it is. We're all writers. So you write stuff, you put it out, you hope it resonates with people. It really wound up like taking off and people would like write into us and write into me and be like, hey, this helped me kind of like crystallize my depression in a way because I can now picture it as a puppet that follows me around or and they would be like my duppet is like this and my duppet's like that. And then because the whole concept of the thing is how communication is key to helping yourself through depression because his friends are trying to get in touch with him the entire time and he's dealing with all this stuff and he's got this little thing around and by the end of the short he just through sheer will of communicating with his friends and letting them know what's going on he notices they have a duppet too. And that duppet is just, like ADD or like hyperactive. And then the other friend has a duppet that makes her stomach upset all the time. And then he looks around the restaurant they're in and then everybody's got like somebody. So,
Yeah,
and he's like, holy shit, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty sweet.
It's interesting. I always wonder about the source, the well source of creativity and comedy in particular. And it seems, I hate to sound like a cliche, but it seems like funny people, the funnier you are, the crappier your
Mental health
childhood was. Yeah, your developmental years were.
Sure.
I know a little bit about you. I don't, Kathy, not so much. She's, you had a fairly normal childhood, yes?
I mean, yeah, but I think certainly you learn that humor helps with situations and when things weren't always perfect if you could crack a joke or something it's like it would somehow alleviate the tension in the room and you found that was a valuable
I found that it was a survival thing for me.
Yeah.
Was it for you,
Mhm.
Johnny? Was you trying to survive?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a lot of that. There was a lot of stuff going on when I was a kid, and my family always dealt with stuff in a very funny way. So like I learned to so a lot of my family's from Brooklyn, both on my mom's side and my dad's side, like has a way bigger family. His family's huge. He had 8 brothers and sisters kind of a thing, and he was the 9th, and and they have kids and so on and so forth. So I have a lot of uncles and aunts. My mom has some family in Brooklyn. She grew up in Queens. And then I've got family in Arizona, Jersey, all over the place or whatever, but they were always very funny. So like all the problems that I saw when I was a kid were dealt with in a very humorous way and in a different way, So I always listen to people tell stories, that kind of a thing. But I think from growing up with my parents fighting all the time and and their obviously eventual, thankfully, divorce, but because that was going on, I had figured out oh, I can get through it if I just watch this fucking thing. You know what I mean? I'll watch this show and I know by next week it's going to be fine. So whatever I'm feeling now, I can just laugh it off. I can watch this. I can watch that. I can distract myself.
Right.
And then the next day is going to be fine. And that's actually how I wound up dealing with, I don't know, for better or worse, problems later on too, which I would be like, all right, well, has this happened before? Same thing with my parents fighting. Has this happened before? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
When did it go back to normal? Oh, by what is it, Monday? So by Wednesday, you know what I mean? So I would do this quick math and I would just be like, okay, cool. I can chill out and watch, Rhoda or
Dick Van Dyke.
or Dick Van Dyke. Yeah. Dick Van Dyke.
We went, you and I share a love of Dick Van Dyke. In fact, it was because of you that we got Bill Persky on the show. And God damn it, I'll be forever indebted to you for that.
She has to drop his name once a show. Every show we've done since he's on, she's like, "Did you know we had Bill Persky on?"
No, I didn't say it like that. I'm not bragging. I say it because I realize the more we talk about the more shows we do, I realize how much the Dick Van Dyke Show affected me because I was from a fatherless home, a single parent household. I saw normalcy in that. In the Petrie family, where everything around me was chaos and violence, and I found solace there and laughter. I found I could laugh too.
Also, didn't it make you feel like there were yes, your life might be slightly strange, but it was twofold because you would be like, their life is also kind of bizarre too, whatever
Yes.
it is that's going on. Oh, but they handle it in a very funny or calm way. I mean, obviously there's some kind of, obviously it's not real, but it might be. But it made me feel like, oh, okay, well, one, there's normal people out there,
Right.
right? And you don't have to be a bundle of nerves or whatever the hell
Mhm.
you were feeling at the time. And two, you're like, you could brush stuff off and survive it if it's funny, and you can get through it, and you can let things affect you in a way. Like, I don't know, there was a lot of growth, I think, there.
Well, I mean, it was 1961, I think it aired, and I was already 9 years old. So I was at that very formative portion of my life where I was developing, my worldview on
Yeah.
stuff, and I knew I wanted to be in show business, and I thought it was going to be in music, but secretly I really wanted to be a comedian,
Yeah.
and that show helped me move toward that, and eventually latch on to it. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say that show made me want to pretend to be a writer. And I pretended for a really
Yes.
long time when I was a kid. I was like, oh, I want to be in a writer's room. I want to be.
And you see those two names, Persky and Denoff, every week, and you
Yes.
go, yeah, Persky and Denoff. Oh, they wrote this one. I wonder that's so funny. And so
Yeah.
when the reason I badgered you to put me in touch with him is because he's a hero of mine. He just
Yeah.
and that's why I keep bringing him up, because I swear to God, if he would adopt me, I would be a good child. I would be
You
a
might
good
do it.
child.
I would just, you know what? How about we do this? Kathy
What?
and I will get a basket. We'll put you in it, and we'll leave you outside his door. I really think he'd get a kick out of it.
I really
She
think
comes
that-
with bamboo.
I was gonna say, yeah. Get her a bamboo diaper.
I'll sit there like a panda.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Oh God, that would be too funny.
Yeah.
Oh my
We'll
gosh.
show up in robes and be like,
Oh my
someone
God, that
threw
would be funny.
this comedian into the river.
And she sunk.
Yeah,
She's my is she big?
we had to dive
Oh my God, that's
downstream.
funny.
Yeah.
So you've been, how long has Dystopia been running? How many?
Almost 2 years now. I think about 2 years. Yeah.
Is it a weekly?
You go.
Weekly?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do weekly, right?
So when we started it, and this is probably not it kills me sometimes. So the schedule was, because of the pandemic, Monday through Thursday, 8:30 at night. Because I don't know about you guys. You guys felt the same thing. That's when I'm usually on stage. And that's when everyone's usually on stage, and no one had any place to be, whether they're musician, comic, or whatever. So around nighttime, I've got the itch. So I was like, oh, okay, so we'll do it at night, and we would do it live. So Monday, and then in my head, I thought, like, okay, I do want to sell this eventually, either as a streaming to a streaming network or whatever. I'll show them that I can do a weekly show live Monday through Thursday already, bam, bam, bam. And then put it out on YouTube and Apple and Spotify or whatever. So yeah, we have over 200 episodes. Not all of them are posted. I'm a little behind because I'm the only one doing the editing, the posting, all that other stuff is all me. But yeah, we got Robert Wool booked just today for November 9th.
Great.
Yeah, he's going to be fucking awesome. Wendy Lee, Rita Rudner was just on. We've had Wendy Liebman as well. I know, that's here. Yeah. We just had her on. I had Dr. Katz on. That was great.
I was gonna have him on. I forgot to reach out to him, because we sort of talked, and Will Miller too. I want to get him on too, because Will. Yeah, Will. I like the guests we have great guests coming on. There are people that I know that I haven't spoken to in years who are coming on, and I'm really enjoying getting reacquainted with them again. Like Larry Ambrose I haven't spoken to in a while. We've got Teddy Kaluka coming on in a few weeks, and Teddy is a regular on a bunch of shows, including the what's it, the Blacklist? Is it on NBC?
Yes. Larry.
Go ahead.
Larry just added me on Facebook, and I didn't know we were friends. I don't know him. Larry Ambrose.
Oh, okay.
I don't know him that well at all, but I think he might, because I guess he and Rita Rudner used to tour together too. So are you guys maybe. Are all from that same generation, right?
Yes, we are. Larry was one of the funniest MCs. Just one of the funniest people I've ever seen. But he moved into that production sort of. He was with
right.
I think now he's working with Barry Manilow now, and but and he wrote for Joan Rivers for a million years too. So
you know what's You know what's really
Yeah.
interesting though? How many comedians are spread out through the entertainment industry? Like I don't know why there's not been a book. I mean, I don't know who could put it together, but a timeline or whatever. I would love to see because people who were working for late night shows, people who were starting in stand up in the 70s and 80s, who, think about Mike Binder. Like we had Mike Binder
Mhm.
on. He's fucking
Mhm.
awesome. I love Mike. But that's a guy who was doing stand up back in the heyday. He was with Robin Williams and all those huge guys. And then
Yeah.
he stopped. And then he had his own HBO show, and he went into production and film and writing and all the other shit. I mean, comedians just we're everywhere. We're
And Carrie
really
Snow was like that. Carrie Snow's career was like that. We had just
right.
had her on last week, 2 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and she did everything. I over the weekend we were hanging out with Joy Behar. We worked out out in the island, and
Nice.
she was saying that we talked about her doing stand up again. She said she didn't want to travel on the road, but she's writing plays, she's writing books, she's doing things other than stand up.
Can I tell you that's one of the reasons I really liked the idea of being a comedian. Like I mean I loved comedy and I liked being funny and my friends always would quietly say it or whatever. But when I saw comedians, I was just like, they could do anything. Every comedian I saw had an essay in the New Yorker or a movie, or they were on a TV show. Actually, that was the introduction to comedy, was mostly from Robin Williams. And like when I was a kid, I saw Fern
Mhm.
Gully and he was the bat, Aladdin, he was the genie, Mork and Mindy, and then I found out he did stand up, and then of course that was like a gateway drug into everybody. I was like, "What stand up?" Blah blah blah.
Sure.
But then it was like, I mean, think about it. For Paul Reiser, Roseanne Barr, Drew Carey, Jerry Seinfeld, Ellen, Brett Butler, everybody that was on TV if there was anything funny on, they were
Right.
used to be a comedian.
Well,
And I don't know why that stopped.
I know I can have a theory about it because I think once you hit big, in the case of so let's say Robin. Okay, Robin.
Sure.
He couldn't have gone on being just a comic,
Right.
because you got a shelf life of about 2 years when you hit that big. All right, because your audience grows up and they move on to other things, and you
Right.
can't sustain that level of brilliance in your stand-up. Okay, you'll always have a core group that will follow you, but he was smart in that he branched out into beyond Mork and Mindy into movies, and he was a serious actor. And I think that's the case for all of us. I know I haven't yet hit that peak point where.
But don't you feel like you guys, and you guys can tell me if I'm batshit insane, but don't you feel like as a comedian that being a comedian gives you skill? This may be hubris, but gives you skills to do a myriad of other shit. Like,
Oh, sure.
yeah.
But that's what I mean. Like, that's what gives you that. Like, because I got to write for Newsweek, and I did, and I think and I privately think that is fucking hilarious, because if you knew me. I mean, I was always good in English class and school and shit like that. But if I had said back then I want to write for Newsweek, they'd be like, fucking good luck, guy. And I got it because I decided I wanted to tell dick jokes at 20. And I love that. I really do. Like, I think, and again, and even doing any kind of movies or writing for any kind of television show and shit.
But there are very few, if any, stupid comedians, because you can't be dumb and get up on stage truly and pull it off. You can pretend you're dumb, but you can't really be dumb.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Agree. Yeah, that's absolutely true.
We're very much social scientists, I think, more than anything else too. I think we don't have that fear of, saying the wrong thing, because we can always backtrack and make it funny. And I mean, that's another thing too. Like, do you ever think about the advantages you have over the people in your life to get away with literally almost anything, as far as like if you do say the wrong thing, if somebody's mad at you, it's usually a quick 5-minute you make a joke out of it, they forget about it, it passes on, as opposed to regular people who probably have lost friends or stopped talking in like a week because they don't have the social skills to maneuver a thing.
Yeah,
you can cut that out too.
No, you're absolutely right. Go ahead, Kath.
Yeah, no, it's true. I mean, people kind of go, "Oh, that's just John," or not just John, but that's John. He's a comedian, and you can't. He's saying it to be funny, not to be hurtful or to be mean.
But don't you think, though, knowing we have that power, I know I self-police myself.
Totally.
And I think that's the responsibility of being
That's another. Could you like? That's the other thing that I think is so funny too. Like, I've obviously like super close friends or whatever, but I'm always like, my God, half of the shit that I want to say that I don't say in that moment, like, because sometimes I walk around and I'm like, God, John, you are a piece of shit, or like I don't understand why some, and then I'm like, oh yeah, because I don't say any of what I'm thinking,
Right.
so I am the only one who knows, and I have to live with that, unfortunately. But I know what you mean. Yeah, you do have to like rein it in sometimes. Or
Well, I mean, it says something about you as a comic that you're being responsible,
right.
Self-censoring. I hate to use the word censoring, but
Yeah.
you're never going to punch down. I think as if
Right.
you adopt that as your guidepost, don't punch down, you'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
No, I completely agree. I was just talking to somebody else about the punching. You know what's crazy? I hate using those terms though, because I don't like being a part. Yeah, I know you don't either. I think what happens is like ideologues kind of capture those kind of phrases and they make it their own thing. So then you're part of their team. And I don't like feeling as a comedian. It's a comedian thing.
Right.
I
Right.
don't particularly like feeling like I'm indoctrinated into somebody's team. So you're like, oh, punch down, punch out. Like I feel like I do that in general anyway. I don't like to punch down, but like I don't want to be part of your boy band.
No, I only mean that I look at if somebody can't respond, if somebody can't fight back, they don't have that
Right.
power.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, I know the tremendous power that I'm given on stage to be, the latitude we all have
Right.
is it's crazy.
Yeah.
And be responsible. That's all I'm saying. That be
I agree.
responsible.
That's why, I mean, I don't. I think that's why Joanne and I used to call ourselves, or we called ourselves Misfits of Comedy or Misfits, because I'm sure you guys feel it too. But like, you're in those rooms sometimes, and I appreciate most of those guys, and I love when they're super talented or whatever. But man, there's some cliques I just don't want to be in, and I have no desire to be in either. But fuck, man, when you're in those rooms and you're like, oh God, this green room's gonna suck. Because you just, and it's not like we can't handle it, but you're like, do we have to?
I think you're sort of an independent cuss. And one of the things I like about you is that you really don't care what somebody thinks of you, and you don't
Right.
play into that clique thing.
Right. Yeah.
Kathy's the same way. I mean, when I met her, she was an independent human being. She wasn't playing with She can play well with the kids, but
Sure.
it wasn't her choice, right, Kath? No, you would never like that.
No, I don't like the crowd.
Agreed.
Either.
Yeah.
I don't.
But what's cool about the individuality thing, and like, I don't know that it's even talked that much about, but like I try to tell everybody who's like a younger comic than me, who I'm close with or whatever, like, don't, like, you can fucking do your own shit. I know it sounds so simple to say it, but like, it's hard when you're just starting out. You do feel that kind of gravitational pull toward indoctrination to whatever group you're coming up in, or whatever club owner wants to fucking, take you under their way or some bullshit. But like, I don't know. Like, I think I did think that in the beginning, and it was kind of rough, but I think I got out of it very quickly, because you can have your own fucking little comedy thing, and you can still be a comedian. You don't have to, I'm friends with guys who I know feel that it's a rite of passage to, like, if you want to be a comedian, you have to literally put up with their fucking abuse and constant shitting on you. But the funny thing is that they'll make bad comedians because I've seen them go like, oh, this guy's great. And it's only because he gets fucking abused all day long.
Yeah.
But he's not a good comic. But now he gets the spot because they just used him as their fucking, punching bag. And it's a really weird,
Well,
yeah.
There's no art there.
Right. There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah. I mean, I think underneath us, but I guess it's not going to come up.
It's butter.
Right. Well, to all of our 6 listeners, thank you for spending some time with us. Johnny Poveromo, thank you. Kathy Caldwell.
Jesus.
You
name? God's
music
sake.
is too loud. He cut it too loud. Thank you all. We hope you And
I'm out.
adios.
I'm leaving. Goodbye. Bye, John.
Bye.
Bye, Johnny.
Bye.
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 Bye, Johnny.